It's been called the worst drought in 60 years. Sweeping across large parts of East Africa, here in northern Kenya, Dadaab camp bears the brunt of an epic outflow from Somalia. Thousands of refugees arrive every week, exhausted and in need of medical help. Ambia remained in southern Somalia despite the ongoing conflict, but the drought was the last straw. Hungry and desperate, they started walking towards Kenya. They spent weeks crossing the wind-swept desert with 5 children in tow. They arrived in Dadaab, the world's largest refugee camp. Refugee numbers are approaching 400,000 and still growing. There is not enough shelter for everyone. Makeshift homes sprout everywhere. 1 in 4 young arrivals are malnourished. Child deaths have spiked in parts of the sprawling camp. Most are dying from lower respiratory tract infections, malnutrition, and diarrhea. António Guterres, the High Commissioner for Refugees, has appealed for $136 million from donors. These funds will help to meet the life-saving needs of Somali refugees in Kenya, Ethiopia, and Djibouti.
I have no doubt that Somalia is today the worst humanitarian crisis in the world, and I have never seen in a refugee camp people coming in such large numbers and in such a dramatic situation. Children with high levels of malnourishment, people with lots of diseases, people exhausted. I just saw a mother that had lost three children on the way. I mean, it's a desperate situation, and I believe the international community needs to scale up and to show massive solidarity, both to the Somali refugees, to the host communities, and to all those suffering by drought in the Horn of Africa.
Within Somalia, food prices have quadrupled due to failing crops and lack of aid. The country's decades-long conflict is amplifying the problem.
I think that must be a priority for us all, and I appeal to the actors of the conflict to allow for that to be possible and to grant security for agencies delivering aid inside Somalia, because that is absolutely essential in the near future to prevent a disaster even bigger than the one we are facing, and also to allow these people to be able to remain in their villages and not to have to flee in such terrible circumstances, causing themselves enormous problems and also making it extremely difficult for us to support them properly.
Better access for aid agencies in Somalia means that people won't have to become refugees to get help. It can also ease the burden on neighboring countries equally affected by the drought.